Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the award-winning To Hell and Back podcast. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and tonight I'm joined by Will and Joe, and we are proudly sponsored by Old Zoological Bar and Kingfisher. I think that's been the best intro I've done in a very long time, from the aid of Will, who sent a message to me to say I'm ready. So, a lovely win against Huddersfield yesterday. Will, I can see you're not really chuffed, but I think the performance. Not great, but the result yesterday, just how are you feeling after yesterday?
I've just about recovered. I thought the performance was pretty good from City. They dominated the game from minute 1 to 98. They absolutely pretty much had Huddersfield back in their own 30-yard area, which was pretty much, to be fair, what their game plan was as well. But kept at it. Obviously, they should have scored well earlier than they did, and it did cause that second half to become incredibly hard to watch as it went on. But thankfully, we finally got what we deserved from the game right at the death.
Yeah, I'd say I'd agree with that. Just to read out some of the stats to show just how dominant we were: 76% possession, 1.3 expected goals compared to 0.07, 20 shots to 2. And then 675 passes to 160, and they had a much lower accuracy. So all they did, and it's the name of the episode tonight, anti-football. They just lumped it long to their 6'10" striker. So Joe, thoughts on the game?
0.07 XG is absolutely remarkable. That takes effort to do that. So
actually higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, well, I think they had a chance with Sulma Thomas, who put it wide, and then Hudlin had kind of a one-on-one.
That would have been all they had.
Yeah, they really didn't try for anything more than a 0-0, did they?
No, definitely not. I would, first of all, just like to say I'm delighted to be back. It's always good to sit and chat football with you both, and if we have any more guests, it's always the more the merrier. Hopefully we'll have no questions of that nature this time to add a bit of...
Nah, I'm sticking to the notes this time.
To the notes, nice. But yeah, it was. I echo everything Will said. It was the most frustrating yet dominant game I think I've watched in a long, long time. If you get what I'm trying to say, we were so on top, but it got very stressful, very hard going by the end. My dad's view is that it's one of the worst games of football he's watched in a long time. Mine is we played really well, but it was just going to be a case of break them down, and once we get one, we'll get more. Just it took us 92 minutes to get one, so we didn't have the chance to get more. But 3 points are 3 points, and they've been hard to come by at home this season, so we take it regardless.
When we play a team being so defensive, it don't normally get to me too much, but that game really, really got to me, and I was sat there in the press box, and I was getting really concerned, like watching through my hands. And when Liam did eventually score, I didn't even celebrate. I was just collapsing to my seat because it really got to me, that game. I think it's just the way that it felt. The moment Delap missed that chance right on the start of the second half, it just felt like he was never going to score at that point. It just felt like the gods were against City, again against Huddersfield, because we can't beat them for love nor money until Delap manages to nick it in off the post.
Yeah, he had the 3 big chances, and then Tufan had a nice header which was saved. But Delap, recent games, is it 3 in 4 games he scored, or 3 in 5? He's on better form now. So Joe, talk a little bit about Liam Delap, because I've called him the English Haaland, and it was a nice well-taken goal. He could have scored maybe 3 that game, but as a striker, you've just got to make sure you hit the next one on target and score. So how impressed have you been with him recently?
Just how good is Liam Delap? That's what it all boils down to. He is the sort of striker we've needed for so long, where he's a utility man, yet so good. He's so big and physical, yet so fast. He's great inside the box. And he's such a handful for defenders, and I've made the same comparison, Nathaniel, to to Erling Haaland. It's a weird one because Haaland is so good, but in terms of the styles of play and the type of player that they are, there are obvious similarities there. And I saw someone say they'd still take prime Abel Hernandez over Liam Delap currently, and I think I would still agree. But Liam Delap, as much as I love Abel, Liam Delap is going to go on to eclipse everything Abel achieved in football.
People need to let Abel go. I know it keeps coming up. People need to let it go. I love the man, but it's just accept that was the past, and it's never happening again.
10-year-old now.
Well, until he retires, there's always a chance, and we've been signing more players from abroad with Ajahn.
Get him as a coach. Ignore the fact he can't speak English. It'll be great.
Yeah. Well,
it's funny, the Haaland comparison I find a funny one personally, because I don't like comparing him to such great players because it's so early on. I find he's more similar to Harry Kane personally than he is to Haaland. That's just the way he controls the ball, the way he turns on the ball. He'll come deep, he'll win the ball. I just think he's more of that sort of mould. But I hate comparing him like that because you just set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, well, he's a good player though if he's either like Kane or Haaland.
It's the way he plays similar, but he's not on the level of either of those two.
I mean, technically, I mean, Haaland, you look at his first touch, it's not actually that good. You know, we just watched the 4-4 with Chelsea. I'm not even sure his first touch is that good, but Delap's got sort of the same build as him, and of course, he's from Man City as well. So I think those links are, you know, clear to see. And yeah, it's not surprising that they do play in a kind of similar way. But yeah, his distribution is also pretty decent and links it together so well. And I thought we'd missed Connolly, but Connolly recent weeks hasn't done as much. I know he's been a bit in and out with injuries as well. But yeah, Delap's been brilliant, and it was a really well taken goal, I think, at the end, to stay composed and put it in the far corner. And I think we just needed that because we've seen it against Coventry and Plymouth and then Leeds where we had that big chance at the end to win it. I just didn't want it to be just another one of those games. So has the home form flipped now? Because that's two wins in a row. I know we're just grinding them out. Next home game is Rotherham. They just lost 5-0 to Watford. So hopefully we can, you know, sort of do the same to them. But Joe, home form, you know, are we more confident at home now?
I'd never say it's... Well, from my perspective, I wouldn't say it's not being confident at home. I think it's just finishing teams off at home. And if we're over that, and, you know, the Preston, Huddersfield, Rotherham games, they've fallen in perfect sequence. Preston were a team and still are a team in pretty poor form, and we did our job there. Huddersfield, again, a team lower down the table in pretty poor form, did the job. Rotherham, it's going to be a similar kind of game to Huddersfield, I feel, where we'll have we'll have a lot of the ball, and we might get frustrated at times if we can't break them down. But I think it is a game we can win. I think it's a game we'll be able to win. But of course, they have got the monopoly of the mighty Tom Eaves up front, which I still love Tom. I still adore Tom Eaves. I think Liam Delap might slightly as a player, but I do still love Tom.
Yeah, he was a bit of a cult hero, wasn't he? But I mean, the amount of goals we've scored at home hasn't actually improved. It's that we've been able to keep 2 clean sheets because we've gone from 1-1 or 2-1 to Southampton to 1-0. So I think the clear difference there is bringing in McLaughlin. Although, and speaking of left-sided defenders, I think Vinagre made such a great impact coming on that left wing. Defensively, at left back, he's not been too great. But yeah, Will, at left wing, is that the way forward? Because with Lakilo's injury and Vaughan not playing?
It's an interesting one because Vinagre, when he came on, it was easily the best he's played, obviously, for City so far. And I think it was helped by the fact he had Kyle behind him, who's a real dependable defensive option to give him as backup, and it allowed him to sort of do what he's best at, which is attack. And then if if he's like that, I think it's worth giving him a go at left wing for a game against someone like a Rotherham in the next home game. It's definitely worth giving him a try. It's interesting because all the people we've brought in as left backs just don't seem to be great at being left backs. And I bring it up every time. And I mean, Fallon hasn't been given a chance yet, but we seem to be relying on Greaves, who's a centre back, and Coyle, who's a right back.
Yeah,
I do wonder how you must feel though if you're Vinagre or Fairlong sat on the bench. See Cyrus Christie come on and Louis Coyle move over to the weak side.
Well, maybe Vinagre will be happy that he might be able to play further up, and I think, I mean, maybe L'Aquila or Traore or whoever might be back for the Rotherham game because that's over 2 weeks away now. But yeah, I think give him a chance there.
Traore definitely. I'm not sure about L'Aquila.
Yeah,
Traore wide though. I think whenever he's played there, he's been pretty poor. And then
it's not where he wants to be.
And then you compare it to how he played against Plymouth when he played in Tyler Morton role, the Regan Slater role as a number 8, and he was phenomenal. Man of the match performance for me. Was it Plymouth? No, it was Preston, wasn't it? Sorry, I thought he was phenomenal that game.
Yeah.
And then we go to West Brom, he's wide and he's hardly in the game at all.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we'll probably get onto it a little bit later, but looking ahead to January, I think pretty much every transfer window we've had recently, we need to sign another winger. But I still think that's possibly true because no matter how good L'Aquila's been, he's had a few injuries and Sinik's out and Aliar is never in. And then Traore and Twine haven't really worked. Twine, again, we'll talk about his set pieces because we do that every week. I mean, we had another 9 corners and I think it was 8 and we didn't score again. He didn't shoot from any of his set pieces, so one nice dink in at the end that Delap should have scored.
He should have scored one of them, yeah.
Yeah, so that's still frustrating, but the senior said that he won't take him off set pieces, but Joe, do you think he needs that reset?
It's a really, really good question, Nathaniel. Just going to go back to January. Will, you and I were discussing yesterday, weren't we? The possibility of Sinek going and possibly going back to Crystal Palace and raiding them again. Can we have Jess Raksaki, please? So we'll see where that goes. I'm sure the club are drawing up lists of targets and stuff. As much as it pains me to say it, because I love the lad, but I think Harry Vaughan will go out on loan.
That'd be a good idea, that, yeah.
I spoke to Harry yesterday and just going in and I said, Harry, are you starting today? Because I thought all the injuries we've got, surely he's one of the first to come in. I thought with how poor Tufan was against West Brom, he's an obvious drop. Twine stays in the middle, Harry Vaughan or Aliar come in for Traore. And then there's Twine, and then there's Tufan as well getting dropped. So that's Philogene and then one of Vaughan or Aliar. And Harry says, no, I'm on the bench. And I thought, all the injuries we've got and he's still not getting minutes. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Rossini clearly rates the kid, but he didn't feature for the 21s in midweek when Lottertal did, Fairlong did, Andy Smith did. And he also hasn't played for the 21s today either, which I understand because he was involved yesterday, so you get a day off, fine. But I think if we've loaned Xavier Simons out, I think on reflection, as much as I was against it at the end of the summer window, on reflection, it would have been wise to give Harry a move as well to someone in League 1 or 2 just to get him playing, because with hindsight, the minutes he's getting probably won't be aiding his sort of match awareness part of his development. And then I don't see Aliar being with us much longer either. I can see him being very frustrated, Cynic again. I think if the injury's not too bad, I think we'll cut our losses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a winger to replace those, I think, is a top priority, because last season, I keep saying it, we had pretty much no wingers for the whole season. And then this year we've got one with Philogene, but we still need that other one who's just someone reliable that we know is going to be fit. I know you can't always, sort of
Longman was
manage that. Yeah, I mean, that's a suggestion. I think he played well yesterday for Millwall. Seat mentioned him, and I didn't even have to do it. Yeah, Neil here commenting in that Vinagre played well, but that Philogene is better on his on the left side, cutting him with his right foot. So maybe that would mean Vinagre would want to play the other side, or Philogene the other side, but don't know about that. Will, what do you think the solution to the winger problem is? Do you think Vaughan, as you said, it's probably best for him to get some minutes elsewhere, isn't it?
I'm genuinely not sure what the solution is, because everyone we try out wide outside of Philogene doesn't have the greatest time out there. Twine
just
doesn't
play without wingers.
Out there. Traore doesn't belong out there. Vaughan isn't really getting the minutes, neither is Aliar, but I don't think Aliar's gonna cut it under a senior the way how it's gone. Cynic's managing to tear his leg apart just getting out of bed, so I don't really trust him on a football pitch.
No.
I don't know. Play Cyrus Christie as the right winger?
We tried that last season. I think he was being much better at fullback than at right wing, but Vinagre maybe because he just can't defend. That's really what he enjoys doing.
I think the winger is going to be a priority position in a winger, and maybe another create like a number 10, bit of a creative number 10.
Haven't we got lots of those?
I think we've got too many of them, haven't we?
That's all we've got. Well, at least it was last year.
I'm not sure we do, because none of them are proper between the lines, creating loads of chances sort of players.
I mean, Tufan's more of a finisher. I mean, he does create chances, but you want him to get on the end of what another 10 creates.
His work rate yesterday, Tufan, I thought
he got better as the game went on.
Yeah, he played well, and he created a great chance for Delap, didn't he? Yeah.
To bring it back round to your original question, Nathaniel, about Twine on set pieces, we've got on a great old tangent there.
Yeah.
But I think once one goes in, or he gets an assist from one, he'll get assists from most of them, or score in the range that he can score from most of them. I think with Twine, it'll just be that first one, and that's the big hurdle.
Well, I was going to ask you that, because yes, I agree with you once he gets his first one, but if that takes all season, then we've wasted a position on someone who's not performed, and so far it's been a third of the year, and he's still young, getting used to the team. You'd hope so by now, and he has been improving in recent weeks, but I still think that in the middle is probably a bit of a position for him. Neil asking about Shelbourne. I think we'll probably get onto that in a little bit, but generally 26 points, got an equal record at home and away now with 13 points each, and we're 8th, so things going pretty well. Will, so far this season, thoughts as we're a third of the way in?
We're above where I expected us to be, so as far as I'm concerned, it's been a positive start, and obviously the team's improving game on game, getting more used to how Liam wants us to play, and obviously Liam's getting more used to the players and how he knows on their strengths and weaknesses in the way that we play as well. I thought 10th would be good for us this season, just around the edge of the playoffs, but we're level with the playoffs on goal difference. Obviously, that means nothing when you're not in them. But yeah, as it's gone so far, I'm very, very happy.
Joe, would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that. And I think people panicking because, we've lost 2 games and we've dropped down to 9th or whatever it was. I think they were just out of their minds, really.
People were panicking after that Doncaster game, and that was the second game of the season.
Yeah, and it didn't even count. It was a League Cup. Yeah. But yeah, since then we've been infinitely better. So much better.
That, and like the Norwich game wasn't great, but we should have got a point out of it. And from then on, we've been, like you say, infinitely better. We've been a team unrecognisable to that night at the MKM against Doncaster, where Ingram had 89% of possession just on his own. But this is about where I expected us to be, sort of teetering around the edge of the playoffs, top half. And if we were to finish here after 46 games, I think it'd be a very successful season, and it'd be something really, really good to keep building on for the future. You know, we consolidated under Liam last season, and to build on that with a solid top half finish when he's had a full term with the players. I think I think I might have gone there. Did I go?
No, no.
Oh, Elaine, you both froze for me. So I thought, oh great, is my Wi-Fi gone down the toilet? But no, we're all right. And I think this year, solid top half. That's all we can really want.
Yeah, I think all we can really expect is for them to get better every year, and that would be a third. I mean, we're definitely going to finish above 15th, I'd say. But I think at the moment, because we feel like we haven't had as many wins as we should have, and we've got all these attacking players, I think that, especially with the games we've got coming up in the next 4, we don't count your chickens, but it's Swansea and Rotherham, Watford and QPR should be getting points out of that. I feel like by the time we get to halfway through the season, I think we could well be in the top 6 or 7th or something like that. And then you just want to be able to push on, and we should have a good January. Sometimes we've been in this position and then we've had a bad January and then fallen off a bit. Neil asking, let's talk about a little bit about January. Neil asking, is signing Delap on a permanent unthinkable? I think it's probably only if we get promoted, right?
It's not literally unthinkable. I can see it happening, but I imagine that Man City would want him to be in the Premier League next season or learn somewhere if he has a successful season with us. Because there is the rumour that's gone around that he was asked it in the press conference after the game, Delap, about a second season on loan with us. And he himself just mentioned he's obviously keeping his head down and trying to carry on as he is. But I think that would be an interesting choice. If we go for a second season of loan, I think it'd be a good shout. I don't think we'll be able to sign him. I'd like to sign Morton as well, but I imagine I could see something similar from Liverpool, though, wanting to be in the Premier League next season, playing for someone in there.
Yeah, more fingers crossed we can get promoted and we can get, keep Philogene and have Morton and Delap again. Yeah,
well, we got promoted. We won't keep Philogene.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that one, how that works. But Ian's saying I think we will sign Twine. Maybe that'll be at the end of the season. But so far, I wouldn't.
But Burnley might want him back for the Championship next season.
Oh yeah, they're not going to be staying up, are they? Wally Daft said he predicted an 8th finish, and he's happy with how things are going. But yeah, I don't think that's Daft. 8th, and yeah, that's exactly where we are. Anything else we want to mention about the Huddersfield game? I think I just want to say that Huddersfield were so boring, and I think I'd be in, they look in trouble. I know they're the 3 worst teams at the moment, but they just didn't try for anything more than 0-0 at all.
Their football was the most negative I've seen at the stadium in years. Maybe the worst I've seen. I'm not sure, but it was up there. It was so dire to watch, and I really feel for Huddersfield fans if that is what Darren Moore has got them doing on a weekly basis, because it was appallingly horrible to watch. It was anti-football in the worst way.
Most literal sense, yeah. Yeah, dreadful, really. Dreadful. Yeah. And if we hadn't won that, not winning the previous games, it would have been so frustrating because, when you've got the ball for the whole time. Yeah.
I do not know what I would have done if we had won that, because I
got the goal, never in doubt.
I was at my wit's end when we got into injury time.
Yeah, Wally Daft. Huddersfield were awful. On the other matter, I've heard Matt Taylor at Rotherham has been sacked, though this might be fake news.
That has been reported. I don't know if it's been official yet, but I imagine that's probably going to happen anytime soon anyway. It's the international break. It would make sense if they're going to get rid of him now.
I think Rotherham.
A couple of weeks.
they're so bad. I don't think it'll matter who the manager is when we play them because the players they've got.
Look at Sheffield Wednesday. They got rid of Darren Moore, who was on a high, and they're still par under Discamunas.
Yeah, Neil saying that Philogene was getting a bit annoyed on numerous occasions, waiting for the ball to him. Joe, he wasn't at his best yesterday, but I mean, he still did fairly well. A few nice touches, and I think 2 weeks that will come at a good time with Lakilo and Traore out and Connolly unfit and that sort of thing. So it's a good time for an international break.
Yeah, definitely. It allows us to get Slater back, Traore, Lakilo, all fit, like you say. Diagnose Cynic with whatever he's done. And
brittle bone disease, clearly.
Injuritis, maybe. If that's injuryitis.
Probably broken his finger opening a tin of beans or something like that. But whatever happens with Cynic will happen. And do I think we'll ever see him in black and amber again? No. Anyway, I think
go on.
I think I think the international break does come at a good time. It's only, I believe, Adama, but I'm not sure whether he's going with his injury now. Adama, Delap, Morton and Philogene going away. So most of the squad are still about. Connolly's not going. Fairlong's not going.
Traore got called up after he was already injured. I believe Liam suggested that he was nearly fit for the game yesterday, which suggests to me probably he's going away on international break and he'll be back fit after the break.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much better for, I think, Philogene and Delap to go out on international break at the moment because they actually play, whereas Traore, it's probably a bit annoying for him because he's gone out and I don't think he's barely played any minutes. Same with Seri, so sometimes it's a bit annoying for them to go out because they have to travel back and then maybe they're not fully sharp for the game. Well, yeah, with AFCON, Seri and Traore are going to be away as well.
Hopefully by that stage we'll have to worry about no injuries to Slater and we can just try and slot him in there in place of Seri and shuffle things a little bit.
Yeah, maybe Morton and Slater as the deep midfielders possibly might be what happens during that month. On that mention about Philogene being annoyed with a long ball to him, there's a lot of times when he makes a run, dribbles past three players, doesn't make a cross, and other players are annoyed with him. So I suppose it's a bit of you win some, you lose some, really, because he is, at times, he can be very, very greedy when he really doesn't need to. I mean, just look at that Preston chance he had right on half-time when he's through on goal and somehow doesn't have a go, tries to beat the defenders. Yeah, sometimes he just overthinks it way too much, and there's plenty of chances to pass the ball and he just doesn't do it.
Yeah, well said. But grinding out a result against Huddersfield, and just going to mention it for Ant, he hates Huddersfield. So to end the Huddersfield hoodoo, because we haven't beaten them since 2015, we really needed that because they've been garbage for years and we've not beaten them. So that was very appreciated.
We both went to Huddersfield Uni as well, didn't we? So we know the players.
Yeah, I'm currently wearing my audio. Listeners won't like this. You probably can't see it, but University of Huddersfield on my hoodie at the moment. So I was wearing this yesterday and I didn't realise that I was conflicting with my Hull City hat as well. But yeah, nice to beat them. Just going to mention it. I'm sure it's going to be mentioned a whole lot more, especially as we talk about wingers. Boney 1908 says that we need a quality right winger who can score goals, and Neil has suggested Potter. I assume Lewis Potter on loan. It's going to be mentioned, especially as he's not playing.
He is the new Fraser Campbell rumour.
Yeah.
It's going to be the new Fraser Campbell rumour every single.
Fraser was there, wasn't he? Fraser was there.
He was there.
Well,
wanted to get, before the game, I wanted to get two players, both ex-City. Basso with Huddersfield as their goalie coach and Fraser Campbell. They both arrive at the exact same time. I was livid.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Well, two sort of news things that came out last week. I think we might have mentioned it before, but let's discuss these. Firstly, Joe, your thoughts on the possible contract extension for Liam. And then Trevor's asked, wonder who was sniffing around for him, presumably Burnley or Sheffield United at the bottom of the Premier League. Maybe Brighton.
I don't think it'll be Burnley because Company plays, well, comparably a relatively similar style of football. So there's no point in changing, in just going with another side of the same coin if the philosophy isn't working with one manager. Sheffield United's a possibility. Luton, I don't think so. Who else is down there? Bournemouth, definitely not. They've only just brought in Iraola. I don't really know, to be honest with you, who might have been sniffing around him, but good. Glad he's going to stay. He said himself that that's nearly done. So can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I fell in love with him so quickly as a manager. And he's just ace. He's just absolutely ace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a really positive year, and I think he'd probably it would be a risk to leave somewhere else, especially bottom of the Premier League, get relegated, and he wouldn't really be in a better position. And he backs himself with his great relationship with Adjan as well, and the funding that he's been getting, the backing. There aren't many other jobs he'd enjoy more, especially as he's played for us before. Will, what do you think about the Shelbourne thing, Adjan walking away from Shelbourne?
I have zero opinion on it, to be honest. I mean, I thought he's not really. He's very rarely mentioned. He's very rarely come up, to be honest. I've got a couple of players there on loan who might not be on loan very much longer there. It seems like it was an issue where the rest of the board who were there were more behind the manager, Damien Duff, than his ownership. And if that's the case, that they'd rather be around him than the owners, I understand why he's got out of it. I'm surprised it was so quick after going there that it's turned around. But I'd rather him focus more on Hull City anyway, so I'm not too bothered, to be honest.
It's not even been a year since he's bought Shelbourne, is
it? 5 months, I think it was.
5 months, that is very quick, but I guess not long enough for it to be something that we'd miss or he'd miss. And there are other clubs we can loan players to. Do we really need to own another club to loan players out? We have players at other clubs in League One, really.
Well, there was recently talk of them changing the rules regarding teams sending players on loan to other clubs that are associates with them, and maybe that played slightly into it a bit. Maybe you thought, well, if this rule comes into force, I can't use this team to sort of.
That was like the Neves thing to Newcastle, wasn't
it? That's what the thing that came up about it was the Ruben Neves going to Newcastle to cover Tonali's ban. I mean, it's the end of the season. It was the end of the season in Ireland. The players aren't going to be playing there anymore this season. Get them back over here. Get them back involved in the under-21s. Get them on loan somewhere back in England, and just focus on Hull City.
Was there watching. Woody was at the game watching on Tuesday when they lost to Peterborough. So they'll be back involved definitely. Maybe depending on how much time they get off, Woody or Java will play on Wednesday against Pocklington in the Cup. Imagine that going from playing for a team who's qualified for Europe to playing against Pocklington Town.
Well, you can only beat what's in front of you, I guess, as a player. Niels, he said Wood and Java have done well recently for them, so maybe it would be better for them in January to go out on loan at a higher level than Irish football, which I don't think is that well regarded. But it's not really something that we can miss, and we didn't have long enough to think about it. And Shep's put there, maybe better to have a feeder club if we get to the Premier League, because I mentioned it's not free. I know it's not much money, but it's probably better to focus on that in the future. And with the links with Roma and Juventus or Villa, maybe there are probably other places we can have players from that we don't really need to just have players at Shelbourne. So not really something to be worried about, I'd say. Trevor saying, didn't he only stay around for 6 months at a Belgian club, or was it in the Netherlands?
No, it was the Netherlands. It was Fortuna Sittard, and I think it's the same with the Shelbourne thing. He wasn't the sole owner; he was a part owner. And I think that's part of the reason why it's happened again. I think he wants full control. Obviously, I think he prefers having full control because of the decisions are his to make, which I get to a point. But yeah, I think there's no issue of something similar happening at Hull City anytime soon because he's got the full control. It's an issue he has with having to work with others in control.
Yeah, unless he starts selling players like Philogene and Greaves for £2, then I don't really think we have to worry because the financial sort of aspect, we're going to be fine. We can sell Philogene and that will cover us for a year or two. So yeah, I think at the moment things are going pretty well ownership-wise. So just touch on the international break. One of the things I look forward to, not many things I look forward to when it's the international break, but I don't watch Bellingham play much because he's over in Real Madrid, so he's not in the Premier League, but he's injured, so I won't even get the delight of seeing him. So not much to look forward to with England already qualified. We'll beat Malta and Macedonia. It's Malta at home and then North Macedonia away. So
I'll be all right. Get Jordan Henderson in the Bellingham role. That'll be beautiful.
That'll be brilliant. Ignore the fact he just played in front of 400 people in a league that's
400. Generous.
That many people. Bloody hell.
Wow. Yeah.
It was six
over there growing the game in Saudi Arabia.
I was explaining to my barber the level of FIFA corruption to get Saudi Arabia the 2034 World Cup, and she was.
Oh yeah,
expected.
If you want,
she expected a lot.
Any good sort of explanation of the whole thing, go and watch HITC7's content on anything Saudi Arabia because it's just the perfect way to describe how absolutely utterly corrupt and bollocks it all is.
And so blatant as well. And I hate that Newcastle have their green kit as well. And that's just so blatant as well. Glad when they lost in that against Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah, like Saudi Arabia play at St James's Park. That'll be all right, lad. Come on, lad, let's get down the game together. Saudi Arabia, my second team.
I think the kits look quite nice. The problem is it's the implication.
Yes. If I've been doing a fashion watch on my blog recently. I gave the Huddersfield kit yesterday 7 out of 10. But yeah, if we ever played Newcastle, if we played them in the FA Cup, it's getting a 0 out of 10.
As someone in the press box trying to read kit numbers, I give that Huddersfield kit 0 out of 10 because it was gold numbers on blue and white stripes, and they were impossible to read.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, one positive about the kit this season that for City is that you can see the numbers. Yeah, quite right. Anything else to mention about the international break, or do we want to have a quick look at the match that's 2 weeks away, which is Swansea away?
Just to clarify, I'm not being serious about Jordan Henderson. For anyone thinks I am, I can't stand the man, and he should be nowhere near an England shirt. He should be nowhere near anything to do with England. And Southgate's a snake who's too cowardly to drop him.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse has got another 2 assists today. Was it?
Oh, that don't matter. Because he likes Jordan Henderson and he did well for him 8 years ago, so he must be tip top.
Yeah. Will, have I just seen you add a certain image into the overlay selection here?
No.
No? You sure?
Yeah.
Have I only just noticed it? I'm going to pull it up to prove you wrong.
It shows you how much attention you've not been paying to the podcast because I put that up earlier when Joe mentioned Tom Eaves.
Oh, well, I haven't been looking.
Listeners now have no clue what is going on. Why would you do that to them? What an appalling host you are.
I'm sorry. I'm usually very good at this, but yeah, that was a photo of Tom Eaves. Honestly, what I've been looking at is just the DVD logo on your TV in the background. I've just been looking at that for 40 minutes. Waiting for it to hit the corners. Yeah. So, well, let's move on to Swansea, shall we? Joe, Swansea are 17th. They're just sort of bang average championship team. We should be getting, or it's a good opportunity to get 3 points because we've been pretty good away. So, how do you see that one going, even though it's 2 weeks away?
I can see us winning that one. I can see it being a good day out. I've done Swansea away before. It's a torturous day. I'm not going.
It was fun last season.
It certainly was last season. I will.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
I will sit and
I was trying to think of what it
consume
was.
the game through other means, but I think it'll be every game in this league's a difficult game in its own right, but I think it's one we'll be able to come through.
Mm-hmm. Solid, yeah. Will 3-0 win as per.
I mean, I would like that to be the case, but Swansea
Revenge.
this season, Swansea this season, at the moment so far have been one of the typical sort of Championship mid-table teams. They've been blown hot and cold. They've got a mixture of different results. They've never really truly recovered from losing Russell Martin to Southampton, but it's one of those where I think because it's away from home as well, we'll be able to play more our counter-attacking game like we have done recently, and I think the way we will be able to play more our way because they won't be sitting back. They'll be the ones that are put onto the front foot and have to go forward. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I wouldn't. Obviously, I want us to win. I wouldn't, as always, I would take a draw from an away game. But obviously, I want to see us win 3-0 because I'm sick of predicting 3-0.
Yeah. I think. I mean, it's done pretty well for you. You're top of the prediction leaderboard, and I'm second, and I've been predicting it properly.
I'm definitely. Have you mixed me up with Ant because I'm fourth on the prediction league?
Oh well, there you go. So you're predicting 3-0 win every week. Yeah, I must have mixed you up. Yeah, but I mean, I did predict us to beat Preston 9-0, so maybe I haven't been taking it too seriously.
And I have.
Yeah. It's 9-0. Well, I hate Preston. Ant hates Huddersfield. Preston are boring. I think it's disgusting that they're in the top 6 because they're supposed to be boring. So they should stay in their lane.
Not another rant against someone. Jesus.
Yeah, well, I mean...
You talk about Birmingham.
Well, shall we just cast on...
Who have been delightful since Rooney took charge, of course. 1 point from a possible 15.
Yeah, they've dropped 10 places.
What a superb bit of business that was getting rid of John Eustace. Fantastic work.
Ridiculous. Yeah, at least you've got to wait until he loses a game, Eustace, But they were in good form. Yeah, Wally Daffs asked when did we last score from a corner. I'm not sure if it was definitely the Middlesbrough game back end of last year. So I think it's probably been 20 games now, or 18 or 19, something like that.
Was it Middlesbrough or was it West Brom last year?
It was Middlesbrough. At home, it's been West Brom. It was Aliar's. We've talked about this a few weeks ago. But yeah, it was a long time ago. Ian Templeman says the logo on Will's TV is like us passing around the back, just back and forth.
Not that slow.
No, it's not. It's not quite that slow. Wally Daff again wouldn't underestimate Swansea at home. They did well at Ipswich. I mean, they still lost, but anyone who can score two against Ipswich is a decent team. Emmett Enshep says, there you go, Taylor's has been sacked at Rotherham. Exploring potential replacements, whatever that means. I mean, just...
Neil
they got 2 weeks. Paul Warne, or... Well, isn't he at Derby? Isn't he doing well at Derby? But yeah, I think... Isn't it a bit early for Warnock in the season? Can he last that long?
Well...
He'll manage it.
Worth a shot, isn't it? Maybe, but he's been at
Harry Redknapp winding down his car window outside the New York Stadium as we speak.
Yeah, I'd be terrified if I were a Rotherham fan and that happened. Jesus.
Or Warnock would love it being at Rotherham. He could get so much out of Tom Eaves, couldn't he? Absolutely.
Yeah, he's just Peter Crouch,
better. Don't know about that. Enshep says not sacked, but
coming out of retirement.
Close to. But yeah, I mean, I think Swansea will be a decent opportunity. We're getting a bit off track, so to bring us back on track with the best part of the episode, I'd say so. Sorry, Joe, you've been covered up. It's the combined lineup. So I'll just read it out for our lovely listeners. Allsop in goal, Greaves, Humphreys, whoever that is, I can't remember his first name. Jones and Coyle, Surrey.
Well,
I don't know what his first name is. I know he's scored this season, though, and none of our defenders have scored except Coyle. So, Morton, Matt Grimes in midfield, who's a good player. Philogene and Delap, of course, and then Jamal Lowe, who's got a few goals. And anytime I see a winger from another team that scored a goal this season,
straight away.
they've got to be in, because Twine and Lakilo and Trio doesn't really play out there. And so they've got to be in. I don't really know anything about Swansea. I don't even know who the manager is at the moment, so I can't really give any interesting insight. Done no research, but I think...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is, but he was at Cheltenham before recently.
Cheltenham,
I did do some research. So he's
He
not a
was
bad manager.
Manager of Cheltenham. He was manager of Cheltenham when Greavesy was out on loan there.
He was, yes.
Good knowledge. Good knowledge. Good knowledge. Fair enough. Well, maybe Greaves can get a goal against his former manager. I think, it's about time to ask for predictions. Will, standard 3-0. Yeah. Joe, away Swansea, you said it's a decent chance to get some points. Do you think we can get the win?
I do. I'm going to knock a goal off Will's prediction and go for 2-0.
Yeah, I think, defensively we've been getting a little bit better. Wally Daft says Frank Lampard's Rotherham United.
That'd be delightful to see.
They'd get worse. They'd get worse if they got Lampard in.
Jesus.
They wouldn't get any better.
Rotherham versus Birmingham would be an absolute train wreck.
Oh, imagine that. That would be good.
Would somehow find a way to lose.
Yeah. So we'd get abandoned.
Chuck Steven Gerrard's Aletti fact team in the Championship, and you've got an easy bottom three there if Lampard's at Rotherham.
Yeah. It's just the scoreboard says Lampard v Rooney. Don't care about what the clubs are. I think Swansea could get some goals. I think Lowe and Yates are decent enough attacking players. Swansea play probably similar to us, playing around like they did with Russell Mars, and that's why Southampton went for him. So it could be quite an entertaining game, and I think we'll probably have enough, I reckon, for the Gene and Delap, these sort of players, two fans getting a bit fitter. We can get some goals. So I'm going to go 2-1 City win away at Swansea, and then I think we'll be back in the playoffs after that, if that happens. So I'd very much like that.
There is some of that people have kind of glossed over. It's a little bit like, obviously we were conceding for fun. We were conceding every game. We've now had 3 clean sheets in the last 4.
Yeah,
which is
that's
something that's kind of stayed under the radar a little bit. And defensively, we're starting to get back to how we were back under last season's Racine.
Yeah, that's what we need. It's becoming a typical of us, and it's that what's the word? Like into that rhythm.
Trade-off. We get goals but no defence. We get defence but no goals last season. We need to find the balance, and we're getting to that now.
Can't think of the word. This is embarrassing. We'll talk for 5 minutes.
Is it contrafibularities?
No. Like a routine of just keeping clean sheets and staying in the routine, and just something you do and staying consistent. That's what we need. Consistency.
Consistency?
Yeah, but it's not really quite that. It's what Racine said last year. I can't think of it, but oh well. Neil, again, I mention it every week. With Connolly injured, we can't rely on just that. Can we recall Oscar? Well, do you want to change your standard answer, which is a no?
I have no idea if we have the ability to call back Oscar, but I would also say probably not, because if we wanted him around the club, he would never have gone out in the first place.
Good answer. And I'll ask you the same in midweek, and I'll ask you again, when Connolly gets injured again somehow pretty soon.
Give someone like Sander a chance.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Had Sims not got an injury at the back end of last season when we had no fit strikers, the form he was in, he would have
might have
a
been
chance.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll probably get into the team at some point, but at the moment, with Delap on such good form and scoring the winner yesterday, I think it's not really something we have to worry about. So yeah, Will and Joe, thanks for coming on. I've been your host, Nathaniel, and another great episode. Thanks for all your comments again, and I'm not sure what we're doing midweek because it's or next week because it's the international break, but I'm sure we'll find something.
on Wednesday, Anne is going to be talking to Stuart Elliott.
Well said. Very well remembered, because I'd completely forgotten about that. See, rubbish hosting today. I apologise. I got up my game.
The greatest Hull City player to ever exist.
Oh, and I said I'm going to stick to the notes. 2 shout-outs. Firstly, the charity I shouted out that does great work with kids and works at the MKM Stadium, and I'm going to be volunteering for them tomorrow. They're called Run With It, and they're run by Lisa Dawson, who is married to Andy Dawson. So that's the link there. That's why they're at the stadium. I just thought I'd mention them again because I forgot to say who they actually were on the Thursday episode. And then thanks to Luke. I don't know his second name, but he was the first person in over 2 years who's recognised me from the podcast and complimented me and said he enjoys watching that. And I forgot to mention that last week. So, Luke, if you're listening, thanks for recognising me. Yeah, not quite famous. He didn't want a selfie or anything. It was just nice to meet someone. So nice that we're connecting to people.
Just while we're here, just asking, what are you doing on Thursday?
Oh, what am I doing on Thursday? Well, I'm certainly not going to be doing an opposition preview because we're not playing Swansea till the other week. But we might be in Liverpool for something, Will. Is that right?
I believe we're there for the Football Content Awards.
Yes, we are. So you've got your suit ready, Will?
Thank you. I was just going to say thanks to anyone who voted for us or nominated us, because it's delightful to get sort of recognition for this sort of thing. So thanks to everyone who got involved, and I'm not too bothered if we don't actually win out, but it wouldn't be. I won't complain.
Yeah, great. Well said, Will, and we'll be back on Wednesday with the Stuart Elliott episode. So thanks again for listening.